something?
Say, look. That's what you do.
Yeah, but you came to a stop in gear with your foot on the clutch. So the transmission was already stopped.
That's what you do.
Yeah, wait till you go to take off. Sometime.
Yeah, you don't go. See, I can't even do that. How do you fucking grind the gear?
Not all the way down. It slips, man.
But how you gonna...
Just when I'm taking off.
But how come I don't do that? Even the first. You and Jeremiah.
No, I don't do it like that. If you go to pop, it goes in, it pops in though. It makes that sound, it pops in. No, I fucking, maybe later I'll fucking get under here and adjust the clutch back. So, see what I mean? Feel the slip? Only when you take off. Once it gets going, what I do is you just let out the clutch, let it roll for a second before you hit the gas. Then it'll grip. It's a boat trailer probably. It's Regal. I don't know. We don't take boats.
I think it's around the cul-de-sac.
Oh, there's a fucking rental truck. Yeah, we don't take boats.
It says 5 months expired registration.
Well, they gave an address on Regal.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
You can't tell with this.
Is it loaded?
Even if it's not loaded.
Is it loaded?
Big.
No, pick it up from the front.
Shit. You got the underlift kid?
The what?
The underlift?
The underlift is there, fucking. Okay, so we got here on this one. See the officer walking up, asked us if we was there for the heavy duty call, and we, responded, yes, we are. So I decided that I would get out and check on the truck itself to see what kind of cargo it had, if it was loaded, to get a determination of the weight on this point, while my partner there turned the truck around to get it into position. Walked up at this point, asked the gentleman, if he had the key, and then, we're talking about, is it loaded? He explained that yes, it was loaded, and I asked him, can I see in the back, just to get a visual idea of how heavy it was. He was a little worried that we'd leave it open, but I explained to him that just want to see what's in the back. Crack it open for us real quick, take a quick look, and then you can go ahead and lock it back up. We actually wanted him to lock it back up and then take his keys for the lock, so that we didn't have to worry about any issues with his stuff while the vehicle was in the impound yard. This particular truck was actually being impounded for, I believe, registration issues. So that's why we were there, to tow it. I'm not sure if I can really say that, but I did. So I guess in the public eye too, you can see he's got had some kind of issues. So yeah, at this point he's showing us what's in it. I said, okay, that's fine. He did ask if he can take some pictures of the stuff before we take it, and I explained to him, yeah, I don't have a problem with that if you want to take pictures. I did reiterate the point and said, we're going to let you lock it back up, and you're going to keep the keys for the lock. We're just going to take the key for the truck itself. So he decided to, he had to go get his phone at this point, go back inside or something like that. He wound up not wanting to take pictures in the end, since we were going to let him lock it back up. He was comfortable with that. I think that was his biggest worry. It was just, he was a little nervous about the stuff in the truck, and we explained to him it'll be fine. You're going to lock it up. We're going to leave it locked up, and the truck itself is going to be locked up in an impound lot. So that's fine. So once we did explain to him that he's going to lock it back up and keep the keys himself for the locks, he just decided he didn't want to take pictures or didn't need to take pictures at that point. At this point, I'm kind of chit-chatting with the officer. More of a conversation that really shouldn't be on video, so that's why we're doing the narration. Yeah, I'm going to leave out on that one. I'll just kind of narrate here as we go through. For the rest of the video, it's just going to be a narration of me explaining things as we're going here. Let's see, what am I doing? Oh, yeah, I was talking to the officer here, and my idea was that I would just drive the truck out and we'd hook it up. He had explained to us that they had told him that the batteries were dead on it, as well as there was some stuff pulled off the engine. I guess it had an alternator problem. They were working on trying to fix it. So my next thought was, well, okay, maybe we can jump it. Yeah, and this is kind of where he's telling me that they had the stuff pulled out. We're just kind of chit-chatting there a little bit. I was asking about that car that was in front there, if they were going to be towing that one as well. Mainly because if they were, then we would just pick up the truck where it sits. We needed to pick it up from the front. However, that car wasn't going to actually be towed, so we had to improvise. I'm trying to open the door at this point. It had a very sticky lock. And the other officer that was there told me how the other guy was opening it while he was watching him, so I eventually tried that, and it did work. So I guess I had to push on the door and pull on the handle at the same time, and so you can see it finally popped open. I see on the floorboard there is a box for an alternator. I decided before I tried to start it at this point that I should at least look at the engine to see what things are missing or what's been done there, that just to be safe that we didn't damage anything on the engine or anything like that, trying to attempt to start it. I did see that the belts had been pulled off and the old alternator had been pulled out. I was looking here to see if there was anything else. If that's all it was, then we'd be able to drive the truck. I didn't know at this point yet how dead the batteries were. So I looked at it and decided, okay, well, it's the engine is okay enough to be able to start it and run it just to get it out of there. And you see me here fiddling with the door again. That door was something. I think it needed like a new latch or something. The latch was very sticky. Like it would get stuck. You could feel in the handle that it was opening. The bolts were kind of loose on the handle there too. But yeah, I'm just having fun again. I did the push on it. It didn't work, but eventually it did. So there we go. At this point, I had got in and went to put the key in the ignition and realized something wrong here. Turned out there was a broken key in the ignition already, and that you did not need a key to actually start the truck. And me walking back, and I asked the guy, I said, is there another key for the ignition? He said it's just one key and the one I had. And then he explained to me I didn't need a key for the ignition because I didn't see the broken key in there yet. I just got in there and tried it and thought it was just a problem with the key they gave me. So at this point, I tried to start it. I'm checking everything, and I'm realizing that there is no battery power at all. The batteries are dead, completely dead. So yeah, that made it a little fun. So we start thinking of how we're going to deal with it and whatnot. I'm not sure yet, but I think I explained to my co-partner there that we're just going to have to pull it out to the main street. We'll hook a chain onto the back of it and pull it out with my truck, my tow truck there, and then we'll spin around and rehook it from the front. And basically what we'll do is we'll do that, and I'll steer the box truck there while he drives the other truck, the tow truck, and pulls it, kind of like a tiller on a fire truck. treat it the same way, although we go much slower because we only have a chain hooked up. So yeah, I think this is where I explained to the guy, it's just fine, go ahead and lock it back up. He didn't want to take pictures anymore, so that's fine. And I'm explaining to the officer here how we're going to hook it up and what we're going to do. I think this is where I was talking to him about that car up there as well, and he, told me that no, they weren't going to be towing that one. So, um, we're devising our game plan here and explain everything out. They did call another tow company with a flatbed. I guess there was another vehicle there that was going to be impounded as well. You can kind of see, well, just past it, but you can see that like orange bronze colored car that's up there. I guess that one was going to be getting towed as well. And yeah, here the gentleman came up and just kind of reiterated to me the stuff that was wrong with the truck and whatnot, and that it wasn't going to start. I don't think he was really trying to stop anything from happening at this point, but he was kind of thinking that with all the stuff that was going wrong here, that we may not be able to tow it, and that it might buy him some time. If it could go that way, then cool, but unfortunately not. We're there. We have to follow what we're told to do, especially if we got called out by the police there. So we got no choice. We have to make something happen to tow this truck. So he's grabbing the chains. He thought the safety chain would work. In this case, no, it's not long enough. I told him just grab the other chain out of it. And I'm talking about where we're going to go, where he's going to go, and how I'm going to put the truck when we pull it out. I was thinking of just doing. Oh, he he was messing with me when I pulled the chain out of there. It kind of kicked up and hit him in the shoulder. He was fine, but he was messing around. And, oh my God, I'm hurt. Just messing with me. I was kind of thinking about just chopping up the audio on this, doing narration parts. There was a lot of stuff that we were saying in the video that just chit chat back and forth that really we shouldn't have said. I kind of figured that out. I kind of figured that out after the fact. I'd already posted this video up, and I just decided I didn't want any issues out of it. So that's where we are with the re-edit here and the narration. So now we're getting into place, getting ready to start pulling it out. We're hooked up with that chain there. It's not the best looking hookup, but it will work. I know it will work, so I'm not too worried about it. I've got it in neutral and I've got the brake off, but it's up against the curb, so that's why it's not moving anywhere. I am holding the brakes. I don't want to chance it rolling forward. My co-partner there came back up and was asking me because I guess he tried to move and it wasn't moving. I told him, you're gonna have to put that tow truck into first gear and start pulling. I don't know if he was trying to do it in second or not. When you've got to do hard pulls on my truck there, I know that I would use the granny gear at that point to do that, just so that it doesn't put the harm on the truck. And I'm sitting here kind of waiting, wondering what's going on. Oh yeah, I don't think he realized it yet. I don't think he realized that. I think we're still having that problem where he's not pulling. Kind of looking here. I'm looking at this video on like a tiny little screen, so okay, yeah, we're moving now. So yeah, we start getting out with it. I'm steering this thing, and if you've ever steered a big truck or medium duty chassis, truck chassis, which is like these trucks, anything above a pickup truck is what they call a medium duty chassis, with no power steering. It's horrible to steer. yeah, you can turn your steering wheel in your car with the engine off, and you can put some pressure into it and do it. It's really hard. These things are almost like impossible to turn that steering wheel if it's not running or you're not moving. So you can see that the flatbed for the other tow company there that was there to pick up the car, he was waiting because we were in the way, and we were, he was waiting for us to get out of his way, basically. So that's what we're doing. Um, we're getting out to the main street right now. Um, or not the main street, but the street that we took coming in that gave us a little more area. This is one of those cases where we just decided to pull it and move it somewhere what gave us more room to work. And that cul-de-sac, it was really tight with the other vehicles that were there. So I think, yeah, this is where we pretty much landed with the truck. I put the brake on, and I put it in gears an extra measure because I didn't know if the brakes were good on this, or that parking brake was good on this or not. So I just, to be safe, I got out and saw that the wheel was still turned. So I was going to try to turn it back, and you could see me forcing it there. But like I said, it's almost impossible to turn the wheels on these things without them rolling or running. So I elected to wait till we had it lifted up, because once we took the weight off those tires, I can turn that steering wheel easier. And I was kind of going over things. I seen the leak there, but I think that was from the radiator. They had removed some hoses and belts to do the water, the alternator replacement. I'm double checking all the locks and all the doors and stuff right now. I had noticed that that door had not yet been locked, so I kept that in mind to make mention before we left that the gentleman locked his door back up. And so now my partner's getting the truck into position. I think that's another unit pulling up. I don't know what the deal was. They weren't really giving the officers any problem. Um, so yeah, that was me just guiding them back, grabbing my gloves. We're talking for a minute. Uh, I don't remember what we were talking about. Talking how we're going to pick it up, and I explained to him that I can't put those tires in the wheel lift. And then he was seeing that puddle there, and he wanted to make sure that it was notated. And I was explaining to him that the things that were missing off the engine and whatnot that were already notated, and that's why it was leaking. So at this point, we pulled the wheel grids off, and I was actually not too thrilled about running this call on my truck today because I literally just painted that top there that I threw that wheel grid on. I have a box and some stuff that goes up there, and I pulled that stuff off in the attempt to repaint that top. I'd actually repainted it a couple months back, and it got scratched up a lot, so I'd pulled everything off, and I threw a fresh coat of paint on there that still hadn't quite dried. And what I was going to do was put a rubber mat up there and then bolt my box that goes up there through the rubber mat to the top there, and then put the other stuff on there so that I had a surface there I could put stuff on without scratching up the paint. So we're pulling that stuff off, and we're getting the fork holders ready. This one here, we're going to fork to the axle. The wheel grids won't handle those big tires. I believe when we get like 19.5-inch tires, I can put in there, but the 22.5s are really big for that lift. But it's also the width. Like the width on this one here, the width of the axle puts me out past the last locking hole on the wheel grids, and I don't like to pick stuff up past that because then I know it can start to bend things. So in this case, I elected to use the forks here. And the way these things work is you actually go under the truck with them, and there's a solid beam axle that goes across, and you would actually take that fork and you would put it under that axle there, and it would lift up by that axle, and it would sit into the channel on the fork. So it does mean you have to get under and start to align things. That's kind of what we're doing. I looked at it and initially I thought that we needed to lift it up some. We were a little low. A lot of times that axle will stick down lower than that bar and give us a problem there. And I think it was. So we needed to get the truck up a little bit, which is where you'll see us come in here with 4x4s. And the officer came over. He's taking pictures of things for evidence, I guess. There was something wrong with that license plate that he needed to take pictures of for evidence. So yeah, we're attempting to do the hook right now, but it's not quite working yet. So I think this is where I had to kind of look in here. I'm watching. So I think this is where I elected that we had to lift up the truck and block the wheels. That's a common technique that you'll do when you're trying to get clearance underneath stuff. And that's where we'll lift the truck up and we'll put a piece of wood under each wheel, and that will give you an additional 3.5 inches of lift on the truck you're going to tow. It gives you a little bit more ground clearance. They make stuff for these as well, but yeah, like the stands, they make aluminum stands to do this with, but they're like $200 something to buy those, where a 1 foot piece of 4x4 I think is like $1. We use wood a lot. Okay, here's what happened here. Somebody had to get out of their driveway. We were blocking a driveway up. So I had moved the forks to the front of the leaf springs and just got it right behind the shackles, enough to be able to pull forward and move the truck so that they can get out, and it gave us more time to work. We don't want to inconvenience people. I mean, we pulled it out. We were in front of somebody's house, and they were trying to get somewhere, so we did what we could to be respectful. So now we're trying to put this thing under these blocks underneath, and I didn't quite have it high enough to be able to do that. As you can see, I'm trying to pound that block in there. So I think I was gonna wind up holding it with my foot, and then we pulled the truck forward onto it. Basically got the wheel to roll up onto it, and start realizing, I'm like, it's starting to roll back, so we need to do something here. Or it didn't quite go well enough, something like that. I can't remember. But we pulled it up on top. We got it under there. And then he told him to go put the brake on. I think I decided to put wheel chocks. So yeah, the guy came back at this point, and you can see him walking away. He had locked up his door by this point.
It's not cheap. Height-wise. Yeah, you're there on this side. Bring it in. Yep, there you go. Raise it.
Okay, which one is the heaviest? They all don't lift.
Huh?
Doesn't matter which one?
It doesn't matter. Yeah. I tilt first while it's on the ground. Come in some though. I don't like that being out that far though.
What do you like?
I can't slide in.
What don't you like? Oh, that? Oh, lower this.
Way too much weight.
Yeah.
out. I just can't pull in.
Right there.
Yeah. There, put that cable on there. A lot of weight.
And then you follow me.
I follow you. How?
With a flashlight walking?
With a flashlight walking when I get the stop sign?
It's only a mile.
Don't want to wrap the axle?
No, in the left lane.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to put something around the axle.
No.
Sure? When we hit that...
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, but when we hit the driveway, it's going to fucking get low. At the shop? Yeah. I don't want... Okay. That's why I was going to use the higher extenders. Now that we had it out, but that's fine. Okay, so back to the narration. At this point, we've got it up and got it hooked up. I was thinking of putting a chain around that axle. However, my co-partner there actually is my boss, and he didn't want to, so I get to follow his lead. I was a little sketchy on that as well. I would have probably put something, but he didn't want to, and you know, he made sure we put the safety chains, and that was it. So that's what we went with. We're just putting up equipment now. We've got it up. I don't think we ran lights or anything like that on it. I think I just we were going about like a quarter of a mile to the yard with it. So we're talking about how we're going to get there and a few of the other things, and I'm explaining to him what I was chatting with the officer about that I edited out of this video about, I don't know, a couple of minutes ago. But we're just kind of getting around it, doing a once over on the truck, making sure everything's good. He's going to get the impound form, checking to make sure that that lock was on there, checking everything else. My buddy there, my boss there, had left that door ajar. I think because he had a problem with it as well. He didn't want to close it. Right here, you can see I'm just putting my chains away that we used to pull it out to the street with. It's actually one J hook with a grab hook on the other end, and then I have an additional J hook there that has just a ring on it. So I was able to hook that to the other end of it. What am I doing here? I'm just grabbing my phone at this point. Decided to get out and be a nice time to take a photo. So I grabbed my phone to take a couple of pictures. Nothing too crazy. Usually when I get the big stuff, I'll stand out and do a photo of it. So that's what I'm doing here. As you can see here, it definitely looks like it's rivaling my truck. The cab isn't, but when you actually add the box into it all in one shot, it's pretty good. Pretty good size. It was a pretty good size truck, especially being loaded. We're not quite sure how much weight was in there, but from what we could see, there was quite a bit in there, especially seeing that the box was completely full. I believe it was just furniture and things like that, but even that, you know, that stuff adds a lot of weight. So, all right. So at this point, I'm walking back up. They're doing paperwork on the truck, and
kind of watching the other tow truck there that was towing away. I believe that was like a Mitsubishi Lancer or something like that. Um, the owner of the car did not want to give him the keys, and as well locked the doors up on it. So we're, kind of watching and giving our opinion on it, views, or at least between the two of us about it. The driver wound up having to drag the car up. Obviously the owner wasn't too happy his car was getting taken, and that's sure why he didn't want to give out the keys. And he had gone to the extra step of locking the door, maybe thinking that they wouldn't be able to tow it or something, but no, with a flatbed, you put two hooks on it and start pulling, and you'll drag it, and it will go. And so that's kind of what happened there. The car was a little bit of an angle, so the driver was doing what he could to be careful not to damage the car while he was doing what he had to do. So that's what it was. We sit here, we basically bullshit for a few minutes, and then we kind of get back to the truck and do the tow.
October, November, December, January, February. Yeah, maybe February. Alright, I guess I'm driving back. Good, I'm getting ready to pull this guy in. Alright, so at this point we got back here to the yard. We were pretty filled up in the main part of it, so trying to move this big old truck in and out was kind of a bit of a chore. We actually had to get out and move some stuff around before I even pulled in. So now you can see I'm backing up to put the truck into place. Sped the video up just to kind of blast through this portion, get back to the hookup and or unhook. So now I've got it kind of going into place where its final resting spot for the time being is going to be. Alright, so here we are. We're just getting out. I've got this portion of the video at 2x speed, just to kind of help speed up a little bit again, like I said. So he's getting the stuff off, or getting it ready to be unhooked, taking the chains off there, and basically do all the same stuff we did in reverse, although this part's a little easier. We're going to set it down on the blocks, but in this case we're just going to leave it on the blocks, so that's pretty much what we wound up doing until the vehicle winds up being moved or towed again. Once it gets towed again, yeah, my buddy there happened to find a tub of Vaseline and thought it'd be a great time to crack a joke about that, or make a joke about it, as I was definitely giving him some crap back over that. Sometimes it's all fun. I mean, we have our personalities, and we have a good time with it, and we had a good time with this video. So yeah, I've got it down. We're just setting the brake, putting it in gear. Like I said, I didn't trust that brake, so I wanted to be sure it wasn't gonna give us an issue. That's why I put it in gear. So we're coming off the axle. We're high enough that I'm able to just pull it straight out there. So now I'm going to move the truck forward so that I get away from that bumper, and I can lift it up and put everything back. So pretty much that's what you see in the rest of this video. It's just me closing up, putting everything back. Some people like to keep their boom, which is that bit on top, up in the air, and I prefer to keep it down low. I've never liked seeing a truck with one of those things sticking up like it's a fishing pole. I call it the lightning rod effect. It's a big metal bar sticking up in the air, so I think it looks better. To me, it looks better with it down straight. So just putting the forks away. They go into holders, go in the box, and then you set the forks right back into the holders. Now we just put the straps back. Grab my heavy little wheel grid there. That's a wheel grid, or what they call it. Grab my other one. Look at how much it scraped my paint up already. That's why I went on this one, because I didn't want to cut the truck loose to somebody just yet with what I'd already been working on. Grabbing the wheel chocks back, and making, it did hold. So pull those out, stick them back on the truck. I don't really have a place for them, so I just kind of have that little slot behind the boom there. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.